Today, we're going to talk about elder abuse and financial scams that we're seeing. Hello, and welcome to Money Talks. My name is Ken Wink from Summit Financial Consulting. If you'd like more info about what you hear during our show today, give us a call at 586 226 2100, or you can visit our website, summitfc.net. While you're at the website, be sure to check out our podcast page. You can check out all of our past shows and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon Music. So, June 15th is a National Elder Abuse Awareness Day, and it's designed to fuel conversations about how older people can protect themselves and how younger people can help protect the older people that they care about. Elder abuse can be a lot of different things. It could be physical abuse, emotional, neglect, abandonment. But the one we're really going to focus on today is financial abuse. So during today's show, we're going to discuss how elder abuse can be prevented. And then we're going to talk about some of the bigger scams that we've been seeing lately. But before we get into our timely and important topic, let me introduce my co-host, Tony. Tony, you ever been tricked or scammed in life?
You know what? I came close. I mean, obviously, every single day, I probably see an email or a text. I get scam texts all the time. But have I ever fallen for one? No, not completely. But I came very, very close once, and I will tell that story. It's a short one. The Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes. Right?
Oh,
You get the thing in the mail, you sign up, or buy some magazines, you sign up to win. And I never do those things, right? I've never in my life done one. The year I did it, I just was bored at home, right? Maybe it was during COVID and I was at home and I filled out I'm like, I'll just fill this out, kicks and giggles. I've never entered it. My name will be on some mailing lists because of it probably, but I'll just do it. So I did it and sent it in. And I don't know how, but the scammers must have, in my opinion, they must have gotten the list of people who entered because I've never had this call before. But I got a voicemail from a very professional sounding, clean, well articulated, no accent voice on the line saying, "Hi, this is Manny. I work with Publishers Clearinghouse Sweepstakes, and you are congratulations, you're one of our $55,000 winners. And we're just
no
reaching
way.
out to you to inform you. And we just need some details, and so we can get you that and present you with your check. You're not a grand prize winner, but you did win $55,000." And it sounded so legit. And they left a phone number, and I was going to call it back. And then I thought, what are the odds I'm a $55,000 sweepstakes winner? And would they
Right.
call? So I looked up online. I Googled Publishers Clearinghouse Sweepstakes scam, and it's the exact scam. They'll call, and they have professional sounding people. And on Publishers Clearinghouse Sweepstakes website, they have a whole page or section on scams that utilize their name. And they said, we will never, ever call or email you. Never. You'll get a notification in the mail, and somebody will come to your house to deliver the check from Publishers Clearinghouse Sweepstakes.
Wow.
And that's not just the grand prize that you see them getting the big check. They will come to your house and deliver it.
That's
So,
wild.
yeah. And so they never, ever will call. And I'm glad I looked at that. So that's as close as I've come. But of course, I think all our listeners can probably know people that have been, if they haven't themselves, they know people that have been taken for a lot of money. My mother-in-law, my dad has gotten taken by scams. And they're both in their 80s. So, and it just, this topic, I do get angry and upset. It makes me livid to think that people take advantage of the elderly who are more susceptible to these things.
Yeah. Well, our goal today is to raise awareness about these scams that are out there and how we can help our loved ones avoid it.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, we've looked up some numbers here. So older people are swindled out of $3 billion a year. So it's 3.5 million older adults are victims every single year, and the average
Wow.
loss is $34,000.
Wow. Yeah. My mother-in-law got taken by a scam where She must have clicked on something on her computer. This is back when she was in her early 80s and she still used her computer. And she clicked on something and her computer froze up. And a day later, she got a call from Microsoft saying, "We noticed you're having problems with your computer. We can fix this for you. It's a $200 fee or $300 fee. We just need some information. We need your computer login information and your credit card, and we'll fix it for you." She gave that to him. And sure enough, the computer unlocked. The next day, they said it'd take 24 hours. Next day, it worked. And then it happened again a few days later. They ended up getting $3,000 from her and all her passwords and information.
Wow.
So, yeah. Yep. We took the computer and threw it away. We literally trashed it.
Yeah. Well
So,
done.
there was no cleaning up. We talked to a computer place and they're going, "Well, it's an older computer. It's not worth it. Just trash it, get a new one." So anyway, at any rate, I think everybody knows somebody, and I can't believe over $3 billion a year seniors are scammed out of that much money. That's just terrible. So I know you're going to give us some advice. I will say, have you ever seen the movie with Jason Statham, the action hero star, called The Beekeeper?
No.
That's about this. It's actually about an elderly couple that gets scammed. And of course, Hollywood and Jason Statham, he goes and, tracks down, he traces the chain all the way because he was a former, Navy SEAL and has all these special skills, right? So he's busting heads. And, I don't condone the violence of the movie, but the aspect of where he tracks down the call centers and you see how the chain works and how these things run. I read about the movie. They had FBI consultants that consulted on that aspect. So that aspect was pretty real. And that's what this is about. I just thought that was interesting. Came out a couple of years ago, The Beekeeper. It's a good movie if you like action movies or Jason Statham. Do you know who that is, Ken?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I especially like elder abuse revenge movies.
Yes, elder abuse revenge. I mean, it does make you feel good that they're getting their, karma or their just due, because it's a horrific thing.
Yeah. Well, I know it's not an easy thing to talk about, especially when it involves family or the potential of caregivers doing wrong. But I feel the best defense is just a good conversation and just getting it out in the open. You want to make, if you're going to talk to an elderly parent, you want to make sure that they feel respected. You don't want to treat them like they're losing it and they've lost their marbles, because then they're probably going to get defensive. But, just share a story that you saw in the news, or just do what we were just doing, talk about some experiences that people have had firsthand, because as soon as you start talking about it, now we're sort of shining a light on it, and it just makes it a little bit harder for these bad guys to get a foothold there. And maybe you bring in a financial advisor and just talk about what types of behavior, their financial advisor, and talk about these are normal behaviors and these are things that maybe would be a red flag.
Yeah, I think that's important, obviously. And I like the idea of having communication. You mentioned, I mean, that's really the key, right? Talking about it with people. And if you feel something might be a little off, um, make sure you're talking to other family members about it, or your financial advisor. That's a great point. That's something that your clients can bring to you, or people you meet with. They can call you and say, "Hey, I had this happen. Do you think this is
Yeah.
legit?" And you've heard about all these things and you read up, so chances are you'll be like, "No, that's probably a scam. Don't do anything." So there are so many different types and ways of fraud that target seniors these days. But I like the idea of an older person not only having family members they rely on, but their own financial professional like yourself, because the bigger your team, the better the protection, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So a couple things that someone can do to help protect themselves is to get their financial house in order when it comes to all of their estate planning documents. So setting up a power of attorney and setting up an estate plan, just getting those in place are two really, really powerful steps. I know that sort of sounds heavy, and people might not think it's related, but having a power of attorney, that just basically saying who you trust to make financial decisions for you if something unexpected happens. So it's not just about paperwork. It's about choosing someone who has your back and they can sort of keep an eye on things and make sure everything's in order. So sitting down with a financial advisor or an elder law attorney, just make sure you've got the right person chosen as your financial power of attorney. If you don't have anyone in particular that you trust 100%, you could always pick an attorney. But when it comes to the legacy planning, the estate planning, you just got to decide: do you want a will or a trust? Get all these wishes written down. Um, if someone's interested in getting these things set up, you can give us a call at 586-226-2100, and we can have one of our attorney team members give you a hand with it. But yeah, just sort of getting the basics out of the way first, making sure that if you're incapacitated, if you're maybe on some medication, we just want to have somebody that you can trust that can be sort of a backup for all these financial things if needed.
Yeah, good point, Ken. You make some great points there. Communication is key. Having those powers of attorney and an estate plan lined up, discussing things, how things should be handled. Regular behavior versus red flag behavior. These are good things to do and know about. So, what are some other things our listeners out there can do to help avoid getting scammed?
So I just had a client last week, unfortunately, that got into trouble and had money stolen from them.
Oh,
And the only reason it wasn't worse is because they're in a regular rhythm of review. So they just take a little time every single month and look at their investment accounts, their financial statements, their bank accounts, just double check everything. Like we don't have to micromanage every single dollar that's out there, but if something doesn't look right, it could stop something bigger before it gets worse. Um, so a couple little tech savvy moves that you can make is that if you get a phone call and you don't recognize the phone number, just send it straight to voicemail. Almost all of these scammers are going to be calling. So if you just send it to voicemail, listen to it first, analyze it, maybe get a second opinion before you call somebody back. You could set up credit monitoring services and actually freeze your credit. So if you're not planning on applying for any new purchases for appliances or new credit cards or anything like that, you might as well just freeze your credit. So you just contact the 3 credit reporting agencies and ask them to freeze your credit, and that will help reduce fraud significantly. And then you can also tighten up your privacy settings on social media. Just make sure long lost people who could be scammers aren't reaching out to you. So uh, as long as you stay alert and stay connected, you're helping to protect your future, really.
yeah. Yeah. That's really good. That's some good advice. And when it comes to callers, I think this is one of the biggest ones that people fall for, and my dad gets it. Don't answer the phone if it's a number you don't recognize. If it's important, they'll leave a voicemail. And even if they do
Absolutely.
leave a voicemail, first of all, just hang up. If you get a call from somebody you don't know, or even if it's from a major organization, the IRS, Social Security, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, none of these companies will ever call you. They will
Exactly.
not. They will not call you. If you get a call from somebody saying they're with the Social Security Department, or they're with the IRS, or even the local sheriff's office, nope. Just hang up. They'll come and see you if they need to,
Right.
or they'll leave a message. Send it to voicemail if you can. But if they leave a message and say it's urgent, and if you don't do this, you're going to be in big trouble, and they leave a phone number, don't call that number. Look it up online, or ask a friend, or go there in person. That's how to handle it. You don't call a number that you're given, because they can give you a fake number. So,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
my
good.
client that got in trouble last week, he was trying to get some information about one of his legitimate accounts, and he Google searched what the phone number is, which is, people do that all the time.
Yeah.
But scammers had set up a website to
Oh,
pretend to be that company's website and gave a number where there was a hacker on the other end. And then they said, okay, well, let's just log into your computer and we'll get this all situated for you. And they
yep.
had keystroke capturing software, which basically means anything that he typed, they were recording it. So while they kept him on the phone, they were able to log in with his username and password and wire money to South America. And it was over
Crazy.
$30,000 and it was gone. So
Oh no.
yeah, so you just always have to be so apprehensive about everything. And I
Yeah,
think,
with they're getting more and more sophisticated, right? The scammers.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and if you go, you always hear about the dark web. So on the dark web, the United States government was hacked. Every single social security number for every single United States citizen is now available on the dark web. So it's pretty bleak. But one thing that I found personally that's really, really helpful is just using unique passwords, because sometimes when a business gets hacked, all those passwords get put on the dark web. And now if we've got a social security number and a password, they can start to do some damage online in your name. But so if you use the same password for absolutely everything, that's a huge problem, because now they
Yeah.
could basically take over your entire life if something gets
Sure.
hacked.
Yeah.
So yeah, use a unique password, use a strong one, and then keep track of them. So you could write them down on paper and have them right next to your computer, or better in a safe probably. But I personally have used two programs called Bitwarden and LastPass, and they can generate passwords for you, and then they can safely and securely store them for you. So it's sort of like set it and forget it. So
Yep.
if you are a senior, if you're listening to this and you're frustrated with passwords, just download Bitwarden or LastPass, and that could potentially solve all your problems.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really important. You've got to and trust your instincts, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's a big part of it. And I follow the news, especially financial news diligently, Ken. So I can attest there are so many financial scams out there. It's hard to even keep track of them. What are some of the scams you've seen from your clients?
The most popular recently has been the grandparent scam, and this one works because it usually goes right to the heart. And a lot of seniors maybe don't hear as well as they did when they were younger. So it
Mhm.
usually starts with a phone call, and the person on the other end is saying like, "Hey, grandma, do you know who this is?" And then the grandparent guesses the grandchild's name, and then now they know your grandkid's name, and then they just roll with it. They're actors, they're in character, and they're going to say that they're in trouble, they need money for car repairs or a hospital bill. They could even say they're in jail. And then they're going to beg you not to tell anyone, like, don't tell mom and dad, don't tell mom and dad. So it's really emotional, it's really urgent, and it's believable. So this is how the money starts flowing. Sometimes they'll take it a step further, and instead of pretending that they're a grandchild, they'll do what you mentioned earlier. They're a police officer, or maybe they're a doctor, or they're a lawyer, and now we're trying to help this grandchild out. So, the whole goal is just to get you to act really fast without thinking about it, and then hand over, either pay them, give them a credit card, just basically compromise their finances.
Yeah, and most grandparents have a really special bond with their grandchildren. So this scam is particularly cruel. I
Yes.
think it's terrible. I don't know. Again, if you think something's off, hang up and reach out to your financial services professional for their opinion. That's always a solid step, right?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. I think a lot of seniors don't realize too that they can make caller ID look like whatever they want. So your caller ID could
Yep.
say it's the IRS or a mortgage lender, or your bank, your own bank, or a debt
Yep.
collector. So they're going to do fake calls, fake emails. They're going to use scare tactics. So, like you said, when in doubt, just pause and then verify. Go pick up your statement and get the 1-800 number from that, and then
Yeah,
call.
that's the way to
Make
do it.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah, because you're right. A Google search could give you a fake number as well. It's
absolutely.
gotten more sophisticated. That's a great point. So, are there what are some other scams that people need to be aware of?
So you mentioned one, just basically the tech support scam. They go online, their computer freezes. There's a scary message saying that they have a virus, and then it says, "Call this number to get help."
Yep.
Um, that happened to one of my family members, and the first thing they asked for was their social security number
Yeah.
and credit card. Like, "Oh, we'll get this fixed right away," and they're so nervous about the computer or their info being compromised that they end up compromising it. So
Yeah.
just like you mentioned earlier, no real tech company is going to send a pop up on your computer asking you to call.
Nope.
If it doesn't feel right, if you think you smell a rat, call somebody you trust. Find a piece of paper with a phone number on it, with a legitimate business number. Do not Google search it, especially do not Google search it on the device that's already compromised. These hackers are tricksters. They're going to do everything
They
they
are.
can to try. Actually, I had a story. So we here at Summit Financial do almost everything, right? We're a one-stop shop. We can help with wills and trusts through our attorney team, auto and homeowners insurance, health insurance, tax preparation, investments, financial planning, Social Security. So somebody reached out to us last tax season and said, I've been looking at your Google reviews and they look great. I'm very interested in having you help me with my taxes. And we went back and forth with this guy for 2 months. And he just kept asking very detailed questions about tax prep and what fees we charge on different things. And he said, okay, I'm going to upload my tax return and have you take a look at it and see what you would charge to prepare my taxes. So he uploaded it using our secure server. So, this is to protect his info because we can't trust emails. And then we got it, and then we ran a virus scan on it, and sure enough, it was a hacker. So this guy was trying to break into our company for 2 months. I mean, talk about the long game, right?
Yeah, he was going for the long con.
Yeah. Yeah. So that ended up, thank God we've got very sophisticated. My IT guy actually used to work for a military supplier. So he's got us all, we can't, literally every single email that comes in is scanned before it even gets to us. So
Yeah,
we couldn't screw this up if we wanted to, thankfully.
Yeah,
But,
that's good.
I just thought that was an amazing long con, like you said.
They do it. And speaking of long cons, one last one that we should bring up, Ken, I think, because it's actually one of the more prevalent scams right now, and that is the romance scam, or, people might use the term honeypot. But these con artists con you into develop an online relationship through social media or email or text or phone, and then they scam you out of money, right?
Yeah, they'll build fake profiles. They will try to make an emotional connection with you. They will try to earn your trust over weeks or months or years. I get a text message 2 to 3 times a week from someone saying, "Hey, how's it going? We haven't talked in a while." That
I get that
that's
message.
100%.
I get that message once a week. Yeah, and I just delete it and block the number. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So eventually, especially if you're an older, living by yourself, lonely senior, this is a very, very common scam, and unfortunately, very, very successful scam.
Yeah.
They've got pictures of themselves all lined up, but eventually, whether it's weeks or months or even years, they're going to ask for money. It's going to be a medical emergency, or can you help me pay for a airplane ticket? I'd love to finally meet you. Um, Sometimes they'll claim that they're overseas and they're stuck and they're just trying to get back to the person that they love. So it's not real. It's a script. This is a very, very common scam. In 2023 alone, 64,000 people fell victim to these types of scams. $1.1 billion was stolen.
So more than a third of the total amount in scams, we said it's just over 3 billion. More than a third of that is from this one scam.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the biggest one. Yeah. I know a friend of a friend. I don't know him personally, but a friend of someone I work with has fallen susceptible to one of those, and I think he's lost over $300,000, and
Oh my
no
gosh.
one can convince him. He's older, and just no one can convince him. People tell him this is not real.
Oh, so he keeps sending money?
Yep. Yeah, and he's even went to different banks to get more money, and he's dug himself into a pretty big hole to fund. He goes, no, we're getting married as soon as this is all taken care of, and I'm just helping take care of this financially, and then she's going to come and we're going to get married. And people are like, no, you've never seen her in person. Oh, I've seen videos and everything else, and it's just like fake.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, and with AI, you got to be really careful and just be skeptical of anything. Don't ever give out your credit card or social security number or pay anyone any money until you double, triple check, talk to a financial advisor, right?
Yeah, yeah, and meet in person, I guess so. I mean, even when you
Yes.
meet in person, there's still, I can remember,
Yes, the
Friday
honeypot
night watching,
scams.
like, 2020 about scams like this where
Yes.
it happens face to face too. I have a client that,
Yep.
she met some old farmer in Oklahoma, and he ended up scamming $250,000 out of her and saying they were gonna get married, and then he just moved and stopped returning her phone calls.
Yep.
So, just remember, love doesn't come with a price tag. Real
Right.
relationships do not require wire transfers or credit cards. Just pause and
Or
talk to
gift
someone you
cards.
trust.
If somebody asks you to pay them in gift cards, that's the number one. Don't ever do that.
Yeah, or Bitcoin or
Yeah,
anything else.
Bitcoin or gift cards.
Traceable.
Those are the two number one ways that they get money out of you because it's not traceable. So, well, I tell you what, Ken, great show today. Why don't you let our listeners, before we go, let them know how they can get a hold of you? I know you offer a no charge, no obligation consultation there at Summit Financial Consulting.
Yeah, that's right. We've got 6 advisors here at Summit Financial. We're adding a 7th, so we've got a deep bench just on the financial planning side. We'd love to sit down with you and give everything that you have a once over, look at tax efficiencies, see whether we should convert IRA to Roth IRA money, how much and in what years, Social Security maximization, do a retirement income analysis just to make sure your money's going to go the distance. So we'd love to meet with you for no cost, no obligation. So give us a call at 586-226-2100 or visit our website at summitfc.net. We can talk about how we can help.
All right. Thanks, Ken. And that does it for today's episode of Money Talks with Summit Financial Consulting and our host, Ken Wink.